You have a very strong feeling that a guy likes you, but unless he says it straight to your face, you'd rather not assume he's head over heels in love with you. You're not alone in this. To help you make a more accurate reading of your guy, here's a list of things guys do when they are truly, and I mean truly, into a girl. 1. You catch him looking at you often. When you turn your head, you catch his gaze. When you make a presentation, you know whose eyes are glued to you. When it comes to love and romantic relationships, attention is everything. We simply cannot ignore someone we're in love with. He might just like you if you notice him staring at you so much that it becomes impossible to ignore. 2. He gives you a very long stare. You already know that this guy looks at you a lot, but you should also pay attention to how long he looks at you. Is it a sticky, sultry, I want all of you kind of stare? You don't have to count the seconds he stares at you like this is rocket science. You will just feel it. No, this isn't some sort of fluffy BS. There's a science behind this, you can just feel it, thing. You can feel it in when someone stares at you a second or more longer, because the average time that people get comfortable with eye contact is only 3 seconds long. 3. He unconsciously mirrors your actions. You notice something strange. It seems like when you cross your arms, he crosses his arms too. Or is it possible that you are imitating his moves? It's as though you're all in sync. Mirroring is when an individual unconsciously copies the other person's actions as they're trying to establish a more intimate connection. It happens frequently in everyday interactions, but when two people are trying to vibe with each other, it's especially obvious. 4. He asks you a lot of questions. He wants to learn everything there is to know about you, making you start to think he is a hired detective. He wants to know what you had for breakfast. He wants to know if you'll go to your friend's party, because he won't go if you won't. He wants to know if you believe in horoscopes, because you're the perfect match. 5. He finds a way to touch you. He gives you a high five for a job well done. He gets an inch too close that sometimes your arms touch, but only very slightly that you're not even sure if it actually happened. Poor guy. He's trying his best to stop himself, but it seems like he just can't help it. He is probably dying to hold your hands. 6. When he's around you, he either talks too much or too little. He's nervous when you're around, and you notice it because he starts to talk nonsense. He would talk so quickly that it was hard to understand what he was saying, jump from one subject to the next, and stutter like a teenager. Once in a while he'd actually attempt to sound cool, yet winds up seeming like a self-absorbed prick. A man who really cares about you will not be himself around you. That is certain. 7. He treats you differently. If your guy does cute things to almost every girl, honey, it might just be that he is the kind of guy who chases hard after anything. However, if you feel like he does these cute things only to you and absolutely no one else, then maybe you're not delusional. Maybe this guy has feelings for you. Compare how he treats other girls to how he treats you the next time you see him. Check to see if the level of affection and attention is significantly different. 8. He is especially curious about your relationship status. The first thing that a guy who's interested in you would like to know is if you're in a relationship. He'd be relieved if you aren't. But even if you're in a relationship, he might still snoop around and ask about your current happiness, so he can figure out if he has a chance with you. 9. He jokes about his feelings. He jokes about you being together, that he'll be the father of your children and that you will have 10 grandchildren. He will bombard you with these jokes to test if you're not repulsed by him and the idea of you being together. 10. He becomes an instant gentleman when you're around. Everyone knows that he doesn't give a damn about opening doors and offering seats and standing up when you leave. But it's as if he's possessed by an angel when you're around. All of a sudden, he's Mr. Nice Guy. His friends notice it too. 11. He remembers details about you. Big stuff, small stuff. He remembers them all. The fact that someone can actually recall what you said 3 months ago or what you wore last week is flattering. He also remembers almost everything you tell him, especially the things you love and hate. 12. He laughs at your jokes, even if they're awful. Look, you're self-aware, so you know you're not really some Amy Schumer or Ali Wong, but you take your chances anyway. You tell a joke and everyone gives out a weak laugh except your guy. Your guy is laughing so hard as if he totally gets your joke. He wants your attention. He wants to make you feel like the two of you connect. 13. He tries hard to look for things you have in common. You mention that you like gore movies. He then tries really hard to think of a gore movie he watched and says he likes the genre too, despite the fact that it will become clear later that he is only attempting to connect with you. 14. He constantly teases you. According to a study, some people use friendly antagonism, also known as teasing, and a little bit of bullying, to get closer to someone. He is also probably testing if your sense of humor matches his. Be careful though. Don't force yourself to laugh and be okay even if you're not comfortable with his jokes. You gotta set healthy boundaries, especially with romantic prospects, or else you'll have a toxic relationship. 15. He seems aloof. Sometimes, because he's nervous around you, he could get a little distant. He would appear to have no interest in you at all. Yet, it's the inverse. He might be overreacting to his emotions out of fear that he will come across as too obvious. 16. His friends seem to know that he likes you. When you pass by or enter a room, things get a little tense. His friends even tease you both a little that it sometimes gets a little awkward. 17. He checks your reaction. Someone makes a joke about him. He laughs and gives the other guy a high five, then he looks at you. Someone flirts with him. His eyes will find you to check if you're bothered by it. 18. He insists to pay for your drink. Or coffee, or sandwich, or cinema tickets, or a house. Okay, maybe not a house, but he's always trying to offer you stuff and say it's nothing. As if he's as rich as Elon Musk. He does this because he wants to make you smile in little ways. 19. He tries to dominate group convos. When you're around, that is. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants other people to like him so you will see he's interesting, funny, smart. In other words, that he's a catch. You might be put off by this, but that's what men do when they like a girl is around. Just roll your eyes and be comforted by the fact that if you'll actually be together, this won't happen very often because this isn't his natural state. 20. He gives you gifts. It could be as subtle as ordering your favorite cake and sharing it with everyone in the room. It could be as obvious as a gift wrapped in a cute wrapper. 21. He always wants to stay a little bit longer. You've been working on a project, and now it's done. But he says he wants to discuss a bit more because there's something he's still not sure about and 100 other excuses. You say goodnight. He says, oh wait. He just wants more and more time with you. 22. He tries to be your hero. The hero instinct is when a guy tries to take care of you and be your sort of savior. Yep. Despite the whole women empowerment, men still want to feel like there are hunters and protectors. This isn't really bad. I guess it is just what it is. Sometimes, we women want to feel like we're being protected and taken care of, don't we? If your guy always wants to see you happy and he's willing to do anything to save you from trouble and misery, chances are he's into you. 23. He asks about your life plans. He wants to know how you envision your future in order to determine whether or not he can be a part of it. Wake up. We don't actually pose these questions to individuals we don't give a sh*t about. Now, a guy could ask these questions in a friendly way, of course. But if he does a lot of the things above and also gets curious about your life plans like his life depends on it, then he's totally into you and might be very serious about his feelings for you. So there you have it. The tiny things guys do when they're in love. Finally, for you ladies, if you think understanding men is hard and want to heal your relationship forever, then you should definitely learn how to trigger their hero instinct. The best way to learn about this amazing psychology is by checking out the first link in the description right now. It's a powerful psychology guide that will teach you exactly how to make a man fall in love with you using reverse male psychology.